Kind of like our
I think so.
Okay.
Recording has started. Avoid legal snacks, but tell people they are being recorded. Clear privacy info.
Okay. Nobody's being recorded but me.
Well, I mean, you can hear, they can hear them
You're
too.
not on the camera, so I think so. Sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming. I never know how many people are going to show up to these, and sometimes I hope it's a smaller group, which is good because I'm not a big fan of presenting. Which makes you wonder, like, why do I do this every year? This is the second year I've done this, and part of it is because I enjoy like sharing what I learned with you guys. I'm not very good at doing it publicly, but I'm trying to get better at that since I'm a big writer. So because I'm pregnant and it's the holidays and a lot of stuff has come up recently, I did a terrible job of preparing for this. So I really honestly didn't prepare anything. I finished writing what's in front of you like 5 minutes ago. So, and I debated many times about not even doing it at all, and I was like, it defeats the whole purpose. Plus, I'm giving you your Christmas present today, too, and if I didn't do the presentation, something won't make sense. So I threw together kind of my write-up on it so that at least you have that to take with you, since I didn't do a lot of formal preparation for the presentation part of it. In fact, this is my only slide. That's as far as I got. So
slide one.
So, but basically what you have, and guys on the phone, I think it's just you, Angie. I'll send this stuff to you so you have it too. Is I just wanted to I go to a lot of personal development things throughout the year because I really enjoy doing it and I like to share it with other people. So I wanted to just tell you, here are the big things that I learned this year that have really changed my life, and maybe they'll change yours too, and you can share them with other people.
And Betsy Camille is here too.
The stuff in front of you are basically the things that I learned. I'm not going to read you each thing on there. I might talk about just a couple. Ooh, here comes Leah. A couple of them just to touch on. Hey.
You're late.
That's all right.
You being recorded, Leah.
So, yeah. So the couple of the big ones on there, the first one is say yes, hence the title of the presentation was a big one. I learned this year to try to say yes to some more things in my life that I would normally say no to, like giving this presentation, because usually I feel better about having done them afterwards. So not always the case. Like, it's definitely picking and choosing what things you should say yes to and what things you should say no to. And I also learned recently that when you're making that decision, if you're thinking about saying no because you're afraid of what other people might think or because you're scared to do it, it probably means you should do it because you're probably going to get something out of it. So that's a big thing I learned. Another big thing was be you, hence my shirt. I need a shirt to remind myself of this. And then you do have a little like wallet card that you can put in your wallet that I keep a lot too, because a lot of things that I went through this year, I learned that I really need to be myself regardless of what other people think in whatever situation I'm in. I went on a retreat and I stayed with a girl I had never met before. And I was around a lot of people, and it was very social, and I'm very introverted, and I had a lot of fun, but I realized on that trip that I really needed to take time for myself at points throughout the retreat, and I need to do that like just in life in general, keeping true to who I am. Here at work, I need to remember that I do like to do dorky stuff like this. I like to wear slippers to work and Christmas socks, so I need to do those things because I like to do them, and they make me feel better about life and working with you guys and everything else. So I think that's important. And then a couple of the other things on there. On the back side, anything is possible. That I pretty much learned from my husband because, as many of you know, he did Ironman this year. So I learned a lot from that journey in general, and just the fact that whatever you set your mind to, I really believe that you can do. You just have to have hope and do the work, and enlist the right people to help you, and you'll get there. So very important. Owning your story was another big piece. I learned a lot of this at the retreat. There was actually like a session on owning your actual own story. It's basically just about kind of embracing the things that you went through in your life. We've all went through some stuff, some hard stuff, some good stuff, some whatever stuff. That's your story. That makes you who you are today. And there's nobody's story is right or wrong. It just makes you who you are. And I think it's important that we own that, and part of owning that, I think, is actually sharing it or pieces of it with other people when you're comfortable too, because I think that's what helps you connect with other people. And it's important in any, whether it be at work or even with your clients or just at home, friends, anybody you meet. I think it's a really important piece to life and getting more out of it that way. Same thing with connecting, that's kind of part of it too. So the biggest way to, I think, connect with other people is to be able to own your story and share it with them. Letting go has been a big one, especially of recent. Since I've been pregnant, I've had to let go of a lot of things, namely like parts of me that I used to be and do all the time. Running was a big one. I had to give up a lot of that just because I'm not able to do it anymore. And lately I've gone through a couple pregnancy scares and things that I've needed that have taught me that I need to just kind of let that go. I need to relax a little bit and not do all the things that I do just because things in my life are going to be different now. And that's hard, but I think it's definitely something important that if we can learn how to do it, we'll get a lot more out of life. And the last one is actually what leads into kind of your Christmas present for this year is to have fun. So there is a presenter his name's Jason Katecki, and I've seen him twice now, and he's very good, and he talks about adultitis and getting rid of adultitis, which is essentially us being adults and not having fun and not playing with our kids and just being that kind of cranky like adult that nobody wants to be. So his big thing is kind of to have fun, focus on that in every aspect of your life. So he has books that he's written and different little games and things that he does that kind of focuses on. He's also a very good speaker. Kristen, I hope maybe I'll have to introduce you to him in hopes that we can get him someday because he's got a lot of really good stuff. He has written a book that called, I actually have it here, Penguins Can't Fly and 39 Other Rules That Don't Exist. Because he talks a lot about like these rules in our life that we think are rules that really aren't rules, like wearing pajamas in public and you can't eat breakfast at dinner time, just all sorts of different things. So, and then in the book he explains like each one of those and why we abide by these and why we probably shouldn't. So pretty cool stuff. So he talks about breaking those rules that don't exist, which is a lot of fun. And then the Christmas present ties into a game that he suggested that he actually heard this from an audience member, that a lady that lives in California, her husband died kind of suddenly of cancer, and they used to play this game. He calls the game Hide Marty, but they use a little Where's Waldo guide. So basically they hide this little Where's Waldo character in the house, and then when somebody finds it, then they hide it. So you just take turns hiding this thing. It shows up in funny places, and you're pouring your cereal, it'll fall out of the cereal box, and all sorts of little things. So when the husband died, Waldo was missing. He was the last one to hide it because he was supposed to be the best hider, they said. And at one time they were celebrating after his funeral. They were all at the house, and it got really hot in the house. So they decided to turn the fan on to cool everybody off, and Where's Waldo guy flew off the fan and landed on the floor in front of them. So they all then spent the rest of the time sharing stories about the best places he had hid Waldo. So it was cool. It makes everybody smile, and it's kind of just a fun little game. So this is Marty, or his Marty, little penguin guy that they use to kind of hide places, him and his wife. And then you can even get kids involved too if they're old enough or want to. And I realized as he was explaining this story for the first time that my husband has been doing this for a while, and I didn't even know it. He hides a pair of socks. And it started mostly with because I was probably nagging him because he leaves his clothes laying all over the house, namely socks. He'll take out a pair of socks to put in his gym bag, and he'll leave them sitting out somewhere. Thankfully, they're clean. So then to be funny, he just decided to start putting them in random places, like he'll put them in my purse, and I'll show up to work, and there will his socks be, or he'll put them in my pillowcase, or just weird things like that. So I actually now have a Marty. And then this guy, I thought we could actually do this in the office. We could start hiding him in places, and then if you guys find him, you can re-hide him again. So that's what I'm giving you all for Christmas, is I bought little penguin guys. I'll let you guys pick them out, whichever one you want. And then I do have explanations of the actual story, too, so if you want these for whatever reason, or if you want to give them as a gift someday, you can do that, too. But that's my Christmas gift for you guys this year.
We do the elf on the shelf during the holidays.
Yeah, similar.
But it's like this is an all year deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a lot of his presentations are just little things like that. Here's what we do that you should do. He's got a whole book on like different like activities you can do with your kids that are just fun. So he's really cool. So that's actually all I have for you. Like I said, kept it short because I didn't really prepare a whole lot. But I do have, as you see, there's some other stuff sitting out here. So there's Christmas cards there that I usually collect those every year for the Holiday for Heroes to send overseas to any of the places. So if you guys want to write on any of the cards, I'll collect them and take them where they need to be taken to get delivered. If you want to spend some time just hanging out here and filling out cards or whatever. And then the little sheets, those of you that were here last year, I gave you all gratitude jars. If you feel the need to write some more stuff to give out to people, you can. Don't have to. Don't feel obligated to. But I thought that would be a fun time to do this too. And then, does anybody else have anything they want to share about what they learned in 2015? If you do, first person to share, I actually have a book to give you. His book that I just talked about.
Your life forever.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Okay.
That's
good.
I could have told you that.
In ways that you never thought they would.
Yeah.
Both good and bad.
Good and bad.
Right.
Good and bad.
Absolutely. Like that.
I get a kick out of people who don't have kids who claim that they are tired or broke. Because after you have your kid, the first couple months, you're like, you never did something, I'm tired.
So what you're saying is you're tired of me because I know I complain about those things.
No,
And I know that.
But like family, like
No, I know.
my younger brother or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have time. No idea
Would
how much
not.
time you have right now.
Yeah.
And they're not expecting it, but it's just like, you have all the time in the world to do all the things you think you can't do. So it's interesting to see before kids how you value your time and what you do with it, and how you claim that you're busy because you don't want to do that kind of stuff. But then but parenthood just teaches you that you have to do these things.
And your
You have
priorities
to do these
shift.
10 things.
Things that you
Find
didn't
time
think were
and energy
important.
to do that. So you're down this road, obviously. That's it, but it's just kind of dealing with family members with that is older. You have time to spend trust things.
Creepy penguin.
Yeah.
The red eyes.
Sorry, Leah. Do you want me to
I
care?
like him. It's kind of threatening.
Oh, I love them.
I'll get orange on mine. I don't
What's that?
Anybody else?
I was at it's kind of on the same story, but amazing man who passed away 2 weeks ago. And Pat Foreman, he was a counselor with Young Life, a non-denominational Christian group. His wife was as well, and his son is one of my best friends. And he passed away. They had a funeral last week, end of the week, and they had 3 speakers. The 3 kids all spoke about their dad. And everybody already knew he was an incredible guy, but he had all kinds of, he had his own tool and die shop in Heartland, Genesis machine. And so he would build the floats for the Oconomowoc homecoming parade. So his daughter, who was in her teens at the time, told a story about trying to get dressed, and he kept interrupting her to come out and look at the giant hydraulic catapult he built to launch stuffed beavers down the block. Because the team we were playing was the Beavers, apparently. And she was trying to not think it was cool. But then she said 2 years later, I said, that was pretty cool. But she said, I was a girl and I didn't want to think it was cool. That's cool. Yeah, and then, boyfriends come over and check out this stuffed beaver launcher that I built. And Mike, the oldest, had a story about his dad working in the garage, and he wanted to play catch with him. And coming by, and his dad was covered in sawdust and sweat. Mike walked up and then stopped, and Mike's 40. He turned around and started walking away, and his dad yelled, "Hey, you want to play catch?" And he started brushing himself off, cleaning himself off, stopped everything to play with his son. But the interesting thing was, so Pat sailed in Hawaii. He sailed once. His wife was having so much fun that he told her she could stay longer. He got her a different ticket to fly back by herself. There was a homeless guy who they befriended on the piers. She brought him back. He moved in with them. Pat gave him a job. That guy now has a home. He's married, has a motorcycle. He was a homeless guy. And can you imagine one thing? Hi, honey, you should stay another week in Hawaii by yourself because you're having so much fun. But then, let's adopt a homeless guy and change his life. So Pat then, 9.5 years ago, I think, Katie and I were passing through before we had kids. And on a whim, I said, we should stop by Foreman's. Katie only met him at the wedding. Been married 13 years. So on a total whim, we showed up at their house, Pat and Jeannie. We're late 50s at the time. And Pat has a sign on his door, his heated garage, that said, no girls allowed. You have to pass a quiz to be allowed in the garage. And he would rebuild 40s Ford trucks as a hobby. So like a 42 big chrome blenders. So it was such a weird thing. We talked about it at the time. Pat and Gene talked about it at the time that Brett never just shows up unannounced. Less than 3 months later, he had a serious neck injury. He was a wheelchair person. And it was such a weird coincidence because it was noteworthy at the time that, I don't know, I was kind of in the car with Katie saying, I don't know, I feel like we should show up at the Mormons. We should talk to Pat and Gene, meet him in their house. That came up at the funeral. That was such a weird, I don't know. So that if you feel like you should do something, even if it's awkward, you probably should do it.
Yep.
A really cool guy. Anyway, there you go. That's what's been on my mind the last 2 weeks. Especially though, I mean, I can't imagine Gene coming back. Hi, honey. Thanks for letting me stay longer. This is that homeless guy that you were hanging out with. He's going to live with us, and you're going to give him a job.
A lot of faith in that.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, thank you.
Push something here.
Sure. There should be a stop record button.
Stop
Down,
presenting?
left.
The square, black
But,
square.
To the right.